So I figured since I read out of this thing enough, I'd make a cute little intro to it. I hope you like that. So what I'm about to read today is a poem, well, sort of a poem, that I wrote on December 18th, 2003. Yeah, it's not really a poem, it's kind of something that I wrote when I had a pop song kind of beat in my head. And I kind of wrote it based on losing my virginity, even though at the time that I wrote it I was kind of, I was versed well enough in sex. So anyway, without further ado, here's a poem I wrote on the bus the other day. When I start to moan, I feel your body shake. When I'm almost there, it's like an earthquake. When I feel you go, everything starts to ache. Do this again now, for goodness sake. Let's pick up from where we left last night. Get closer, baby, we're gonna do this right. I know you well and how you deliver. The touch of your skin makes me quiver. Falling down in ecstasy, shoot me up, set me free. Falling into a trance, it's like a dance. When we start to prance, it's like a dance. Get over here, you've got to take a chance. Move over here, our art is freelance. It's much nicer now that you've taken it from me. How did I manage to live with my virginity? First times like an alarm. You didn't mean any harm. Second time I was held down by your arm. Baby, it scared me, but third time's a charm. Yeah, it's not good or anything. I just feel like reading out of this sometimes because I think it's kind of interesting to go back to when I was like 16 to 18 years old. I think I was 18 when I wrote this. Yeah, I just turned 18 a month before that. Yeah, a lot of it's just like, I'm very careful with this thing. Whenever I have people coming over, I hide it well. I do not want people reading some of the shit I have in here. And you'll never hear some of that stuff, by the way. Of course. Again, I was reading this one part, like, it was around the time that I wrote that. I wrote just something about being really horny, which just kind of really isn't me. Like, I know people who like will tell me they're horny and blah blah blah, and I'm just kind of like, oh, that's great, I don't care, because I'm not into hearing things like that. And like, so I went on for like, it was one day, and I wrote like 5 times about like being really horny and how I can go get off if I was at school and really stupid, dumb shit like that. Then there's just stuff about people I've dated and how I was so into them and how I really liked them and blah blah blah. And they were just ridiculous people that I really should never have had in my life. Then there's like that, trip to New York, which I wrote for like 6 pages on. Yeah, so some of the stuff you'll probably be hearing a lot more of. I just think it's really interesting. I mean, I don't know if anyone else does, of course, but it's just, I feel like I've grown so much from what I used to write about and how I was just so desperate and needy for love and, being accepted and stuff. And I don't know, I still kind of think in those terms, but just I'm not so needy about it. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, this is fun. Let's see. When I was in Alaska... Let me see if maybe I'll read this one. Let me read it first. Okay, sure. July 28th, 2004. Yeah, I was 18 years old. Actually, this is right after I wrote that poem that I read on yesterday's post. So, okay. I went out with the weirdest guy last night. He was dorky, weird, and completely inaudible. I just went with it and pretended to know what was going on. I even wanted to try and mess around with him just to be kind of conniving and evil. I wasn't attracted or horny at all, but I didn't though. Sex for sex, the sake of it, with people you don't like, hot potential. I'll read this one, that's the next one too. It's a sentence or two. My voice sounds different this morning. Maybe it's because it's all crystallized. I love Alyssa. That was after the first time I had ever done crystal meth. I'm not proud of that. Or that next year and a half of my life. Yeah. When I was in Alaska, I just did a lot of pot and meth. Not so much the pot though, just a lot of meth. And then when I moved back here, I was 18, I was living on my own, and just did lots of drugs. Like, I just did ecstasy about 2 or 3 times a week. Every once in a while I'd do meth. After I kind of got over the whole ecstasy thing, I was doing coke for a while. There was even a time where I was awake for 4 days doing crystal meth, and 2 of those days I had to work. And I went to work, I am crystal meth. Yeah, it wasn't that great. Actually, it was great, but I'm not proud of it. Wrote about Fiona Apple, and not that I ever met her or anything, but just I like her songs. Anyway, boring for you, I'm sure, so I'll stop. Yeah, I got this journal for Christmas, I guess. I mean, look, it's all Christmas themed. I got it, I guess, let's see, the first time I ever wrote in it was in August of 2002, so I guess I got it for Christmas of 2001. A long ass time ago. From this woman that my mom knew. Her name was... I can't remember her name, but she was a good friend of ours for a while, and she had like 2 adopted daughters. She was an older lady. She was really nice, and she lived in a nice house in Bremerton. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'm talking about this, honestly. I'm supposed to go to the hospital today because, well, I'm not going to say why because it's none of your business. But I've just been procrastinating and just trying to do anything I can except to go to the hospital, and I really should. It's like 3 blocks away. I can walk there easily. But I just don't want to. I mean, it's not like anything. It's not embarrassing or anything. It's just I don't feel like leaving the house until I have to go to work because I am a lazy motherfucker lately. Though I should leave and go to work at like 4 and go at 6 so I can get... Excuse me, oh my god. So I can go get my paycheck and... Okay, I'm really procrastinating now, that's all I'm doing. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go to the hospital now, fuck it.